So today is Wednesday, and today they are prepping and painting the kitchen. I'm really excited. Um, I can't remember what the colour was. Well, I know it was a green, but I can't remember what it's going to look like. So I'm looking forward to seeing it on the walls. Um, so we've got three tradesmen here. We've got three of them here. There's Matthew, who is no Tony, who's finishing off taping in the salon, and there's Matthew, who was here when they were taking the ceilings down, and another guy. Both of them are doing the kitchen. And Matthew's only here for a little while before lunch, and then he'll be gone. Um, and Christoph was here first thing. And Christoph was here at the end of the afternoon last night, um, asking questions about what about this and what colour is this going to be? Do you want us to do the bathroom? It's not on the Debbie. And I went, no. How do you explain to someone there's no point putting lipstick on a pig? It's like, how do you explain that to someone in French? So I didn't bother. I went, no, it's not important. We'll do it later in the year. So he wanted to just know, are we painting the skirting boards? And I can't remember what he said they were in French now. I asked him again this morning. So I did all of that. And there was another guy here not mending, but adjusting the shutter at the front that I wasn't able to open. So he was here. He'd come with his facture for the remains of the job. So he was here, and Christoph was here, and it was really busy. So he was asking me questions. What colour is this? What colour do you want the skirting boards? Do you want this door painted? Do you want that door painted? And then he's done it all again this morning. So his memory is as good as Mark's, I think. I was feeling really good yesterday. I went for a walk. So I was feeling really good. Came back up here. I can't remember what time it was yesterday, and started finishing off clearing the cupboard in here, because I realised how empty it was, that I could make all of it available for the house sitters for their 4 weeks here. And the first thing I did was I lifted off a pile of clothes and bent this finger back on the shelf. And this is the most painful part of my body. And I bent it back, and I can't tell you. I just can't. I just can't explain the pain. And then it just becomes very, very painful in a different way for the rest of the time. And it was very painful this morning when I woke up. I actually managed to have a good sleep. I took an ibuprofen, which I'm not meant to take, before we went to bed, and I put magnesium oil on, and I had a glove on. And for the first time this week, I've actually slept quite well and didn't get up in the night at 5 o'clock, which I've been doing every night for weeks, or it felt like weeks. I'm really pleased that I stayed in bed. And I was aware of this in the night, but I was able to be comfortable. It wasn't like I couldn't get it comfortable, because that would have been horrible. So the plans I had for today, which was to sort more out in the middle bedroom, I'm not able to do. I can't do it. So I've moved on, and I'm sorting out prescriptions and making sure we've got enough drugs to take with us. And realise I haven't got my steroid. I haven't got a steroid in the prescription, and I've ordered that from the doctor's surgery, and my doctor's on holiday this week, so it won't be till Monday, but that's okay, because I've got enough. I have got enough, because I take 10 milligrams of prednisolone a day, and I've got a load of ones that I had from when I was taking 7 or 8. So they only come here. You only get them in 5 milligrams or 1 milligram. So I got loads of boxes of ones. And the other week I took 10 1 milligram tablets per day instead of 2 5s, to sort of extend my 5 milligram supply. So I might do that for the rest of this week, really. I'm sure I've got enough to get me through Canada, but they're things that I need to have in place. And it's like, what if I get stuck? What if something happens? What if we can't get back at that time? I still need to have those available, because you can't just stop taking steroids. You can get something, I can't remember what it's called, but there's something that you can get really ill if you suddenly stop your steroids. Oh, Tony's going now. So I'm really peed off. No, I'm not really peed off, but I'm disappointed not to be able to continue my clearing stuff through upstairs. It's really good to have done it, and um, yeah, so that's good. So I think that's all I was going to say. Talk to you about the painting. So I'm not sure. So the all of the paint has to have two coats. So I'm imagining that today will be the first coat, tomorrow, Thursday will be the second coat. Um, and then I don't know about Friday. I mean, it would be amazing if they ended up working on the salon on Friday and getting that ready, maybe for painting, or maybe paint the ceiling in there. It's weird having ceilings. It's amazing having ceilings, and particularly weird having ceilings in the kitchen that's now a flat ceiling. So we've hidden the beams that, we've no longer got exposed beams in there, which is fine. It's like you don't need that in the kitchen really. It's just another dirt trap, isn't it? Can you imagine how greasy they may have been? They probably still are, but they're hidden. So yeah, it's just another dirt trap in a kitchen. So I'm really quite happy with that. But I know that we'll get used to the ceiling feeling low. I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're confined to that bunker now. If I'm downstairs, we're sort of confined to the bunker, and have to come outside and walk along the house and up through the door at the bottom of the stairs. But that's okay. I've got used to that now. I can't believe that I'm doing that several times a day, and then back along when I wasn't really very well. I avoided the stairs as much as possible, and then had to gird my loins to bring myself to bed at night. So the stairs are no problem now, so that's good. So when we're in Canada, I feel that we'll be able to do much more walking than not loads of walking, but would be fit enough to do bits of walking that we want to do. Because I'm so busy focusing on what's going on now, what's going on here, and what's going on tomorrow, that I'm missing the fact that every day we're getting closer to our trip. And I'm not missing it obviously because I talk about it, but it's gonna creep up, and all of a sudden it'll be like it's next week. That's gonna just be, and I know I've talked about it for months and months and months, but it's a big thing for us. We don't do trips like this. A lot of people go and do big trips more often than we do. This is a one-off. It's a bucket list, and I started planning it way back last year, and that's what I do. And it probably didn't need me to plan it quite so soon, but I'm pleased I did. I've said previously, more recently, that I'm so pleased I did that, because I could put the dossier away, put the folder away, and actually put it away before all this started, because I feel like we've been running for weeks now, starting with, I think, this bathroom upstairs that I can't remember, that was right at the beginning of March. So it's only 6 weeks, I suppose, 6 or 7 weeks. But the bathroom, the micro station, the shutters, ceilings coming down, fuck all happening for weeks. It is only 6 weeks, could be 7. It feels a lot longer. I certainly got used to the alarm going off at 7:30 in the morning and getting up, and I never thought I'd get used to that, but I have got used to it, because we haven't had. I mean, obviously you've got the odd days when you get up, but it's like being back going to work. Your alarm goes off, you get up, and you go on automatic pilot, and off you go. Oh yeah, so I got used to that. So it's a lovely day again. It's I don't know what the forecast is for today, but it's sunny, bright, springy. It's going to be a shock because we're going to go backwards when we go to Canada. I was talking to Gary the other day, and he said when you get here, because where he is, they're in Prince George, which is sort of northwest. He said when you get here, you might begin to see the buds coming out on the trees, and you probably won't see snow. You might see a bit of snow. So it's going to be quite a step backwards into very late winter, early spring when we get, especially if we're in on Toronto in Ontario, because that's going to be more behind. Or is it going to be more behind? I don't know. And I do recall, and if I'm repeating myself, that's one of the things that you do when you're old. I do recall coming back into Gatwick, which wasn't Gatwick back then. I can't remember what it was called. something, it might have been East Grinstead, probably something like East Grinstead Airport in 67, and we'd been to Niagara. And I remember coming back in and looking and seeing how green the the ground beneath us was, how green everything was, how spring like everything was, because that was May. I don't know what part of May it was, what time in May, but the difference, in the greenery and everything. The other thing that we noticed was that all the cars looked smaller, which was fascinating. So that's from the eyes of a 10-year-old. I'm not sure what I'll see as a nearly 68-year-old as we come back. So when we come back, we're flying overnight from Calgary, and we're flying to Frankfurt and then into Paris from Frankfurt. It's going to be, and then, it's going to be, by the time we get back here, we will have been moving for 20 hours. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't know what I'll be like. I said to Jo yesterday, because she's picking us up, and I said to her, God knows what state we'll be in, because we'll have been travelling for 20 hours, la la la. And she went, "You're too heavy for me to carry." So yeah, anyway, that's a long way away. Okay, that's it for today. There is a road trip. I did a nice road trip through a couple of pretty villages on the way. Well, typical French villages on the way down to the Hope Shop yesterday. But I'll publish that as and when I mean, it doesn't matter, but it will be it's not out of context really, because it doesn't have to be specific to the day. I just wanted to share the walk up the hamlet more than I wanted to share the road trip. So that's what I did. So there's a road trip to come. So I'm going to go back to watching Sandy Brook, who has now been able to talk about her daughter's cancer, because her daughter's talked about her cancer, which is horrible. So horrible. We had a month ago now news of Mark's great niece, 8 years old, with a tumour on her leg. And she's having chemo at the moment. I mean, what parent wants to go through that? What parent wants to go through, deal with, a child, such a young child, such a vibrant child, going through cancer? I feel dreadful for them and for her, of course, but the horror of a child having cancer, one of your children, is just unbelievable. So anyway, that's not a really nice note to end on, is it? I think I'm going to have to go downstairs now for the 4th time, because I want my next cup of coffee. Okay, take care. Have a nice Wednesday.